Hi, Dylan. It's nice to meet you.
Hi,
Re-
Carol.
Really, really good to put a face to the name. I'm Carol with American Income. Um, so, as I mentioned during our phone call, American Income works with your union, and I'm just here to help you set up those benefits. I'm going to show you my license real quick. So, this verifies that I am licensed as a Texas agent here in Texas, so I can
Okay.
go over those benefits with you. Um, my job is to also go over some no cost benefits. It's just like a little package that they've set up for you. I'm going to go ahead and set some things up here real quick on the computer. Just confirm your information real quick. So your address is still blah blah blah.
Yep.
Phone number 325-625-4748.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I've got you at Dylan Rankin at yahoo.com. That all good?
Yep.
All
Yep.
right. All right, so how long have you worked in Texas? Or how long have you lived in Texas?
All my life.
Oh, good, good. So you're kind of surrounded by family and friends, and
Yeah, sort of. I mean, my dad lives in Abilene and my mom lives in Fort Worth, and we've got some more family in Fort Worth, but that's about it.
oh well, I work out of Abilene also. That's good. That's neat. I like those little connections. So you're with Teamsters, local 76. Where exactly do you work?
I'm a electrician. I'm a lineman.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So you mentioned that you are married. Do y'all have any kids yet? Or
Yeah, we have a boy and a girl, and then we're expecting our third right now.
ah, sweet. Well, I've got five grandkids, and I'm really hoping I get a sixth one soon. So, all right, all right. So let's go ahead and go over the package that I've got for you. The first one is going to be a child safe ID kit. Um, this is endorsed by the International Union of Police Associations. Um, and I'm sure you know a lot of families with kids, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think most of us do. So Texas leads the nation in abductions. Um, and did you know that 93% of children that aren't found in the first 24 hours are never found?
No, I didn't know that.
So, and I know you're aware of Amber Alert, right?
Uh-huh. Yep.
All right, because we all get them on our phone, the notifications. So, in fact, I'm getting one right now. All right, so an Amber Alert can take up to anywhere from 5 to 24 hours to go into effect, and often it depends on the age of the child. Um, and and also it's a lot has a lot to do with gathering that information, collecting everything on your child, recent photograph, you know, when's the last time they went to the doctor, weight and height. And so what this does, the International Union of Police Association has come up with this app where you can go in and load all that information into this app: hair color, weight, height, any identifying marks as far as birthmarks or scars. Um, and it allows you to go in once a month and update all that information just so you know it's correct. And with this app, if you've got all this information inside it, you just hit that button whenever you are in a situation where your child is out of sight, haven't heard from your child. You hit that button and it immediately goes out to the police or the police department's emergency. Um,
Oh, okay.
what would you say? Emergency.
Law enforcement.
There we go. Law enforcement. All right. So I'm going to help you set this up real quick. And again, it's no cost to you. It's just one of their no cost package. So if you'll grab your phone, I'm going to kind of walk you through this app, and I'm going to send you what I'll do is I'll try to show it on the computer, share the screen. And if you can't take a picture of that QR code, then I'll just text it really to you real quick.
Okay.
Let me know when you're to a point where we can go on, and you don't have to enter in all the children information right now. You know, that's something that you can sit down and take time with, make sure everything's accurate.
Okay, we did all that.
All right. So imagine if your child went missing. You can really see how important a feature this is. And being endorsed by the International Police Association, they're asking that you refer at least 5 families for this app also. And it will also be a no cost benefit for them. So who do you have first on your list that I can share this app with?
I'm going to put, let's see, I'm going to put my sister Stephanie,
Okay, got it.
and then I'm going to put let's see.
You just best way. Who's the last person you contacted? Do they have kids?
Well, the last person was my wife, and she has kids. Let's do my other stepsister, Monica,
Okay.
and then we'll do my stepbrother Jake,
All right.
and then my sister-in-law, Tara, and my brother-in-law John.
I like it.
And
What about any work buddies that you think that, hey, I want their child just as safe as yours?
let's do Joe. And that's probably it for now.
All right. That's a good start. I think they're going to really appreciate that you extended this to them. So we'll come back later and get some phone numbers for them. All right. So your next no cost benefit is an AIL Plus card. What this is, how are your benefits through work, first of all?
They're all right.
Okay. And I'm sure you know that, when you leave your work or employment, those benefits, because they're group benefits, they don't go with you. So this AIL Plus card will always be with you. And what it is, it's up to an 85% discount on things like dental, vision, prescription drugs, hearing aids, online meds. One of my favorites was MRI and x-rays. I used that, or what happened about 2 months ago, I had to get 2 MRIs in 1 month, and they're $450 a piece. And this is prior to me getting the discount card. So that would have been huge, huge to me having that card in that situation, because it's based on my income. All of a sudden I was going, that's my rent right there. So this is a really, really great benefit to have. And what we'll do, we will just contact you when it's time to renew. So you don't even have to think about it. We'll just come in, hey, give you a notification, it's time to renew your card. And then all you have to do is renew it real quick. So you'll receive an activation email within the next few days. So just be on the lookout for that, and you'll be able to get that. It's also an app, and I'll show you a quick picture of what that looks like. So just be looking for, if you want to go ahead and download the app, then you'll be ready when you get the activation email. So this is what it looks like right here.
Perfect.
Okay. All right, so we're here, we notified you because you had returned your response card to your union, and they in turn turned it around to us to reach out to you. And you remember the letter that we'd be contacting you? Okay, so this is regarding your AD&D certificate. Yours is for $4,000.
Okay.
So what this does if you are in an accident, it's going to pay you $2,000 for the loss of an arm, a hand, a foot, any of those immediately. That money goes directly to you. And if you're in a situation where you happen to lose an arm and a leg, both eyes, it's going to double to $4,000 for the loss of any two. And then for your wife, Hannah, this acts as a death benefit. They would pay Hannah $4,000 should Dylan die accidentally. And
Okay.
I know that, $4,000 isn't a lot of money. It's not going to save the world or anything. But I think in that situation, when Dylan dies and his paycheck goes with you, you all of a sudden still have that $4,000 that you can apply towards the bills for the next month, rent for the next month, car payment for the next month. So I think you're just going to certainly benefit from having this. So
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and email you a certificate for your records. You'll receive a green certificate in the mail, and then you're going to want to fill it out completely and then return that to the P.O. box number that's up in the corner or on that page. So be sure to
Okay.
return that when you do, so we can make sure that those benefits are on file.
Okay.
So one more thing I need to do regarding your AD&D certificate, I need 2 emergency contacts. In the event that you and Hannah die in a common accident, the same car wreck, it'd be wise if they live in Texas, over the age of 18, and living outside of your home. So who is your first emergency contact on that?
Let's put my dad, Brent,
Okay. All right.
and then we'll put her mom, Pam.
Okay. Got it. All right. So, and what I'll be doing, I'm just going to contact them and let them know. And again, they will also qualify for this AD&D certificate. If you'll grab a pen and paper real quick, or even your phone, I'm going to give you the office number.
Okay.
It's going to be 832
Okay.
327 0800.
Perfect. I got that.
And this is in the event that both you and Hannah die. Your family is aware of it, and make sure that your family gets that money that they're entitled to. So I'm going to be calling them personally in the event of a claim. And you know what? And just give them a heads up that I'll be calling and that they'll be hearing from me.
Okay.
All right. All right. So let's see what we got. All right. So Dylan, this policy is just on you. The second part of this benefit is that you can extend it to your closest family members and friends at no cost to them. Just remember, we're passing this bulk package right on to your family and friends. So how this works, God forbid, your dad dies in an accident. A $2,000 policy, just like yours, will pay out to his family at no cost to them. And all you're doing is giving them the option to take advantage of it, just like you did. So it's, real important that, forget that. All right. All right. So now let's go ahead and get some contacts for the AD&D here that I can contact on this benefit.
We'll go ahead and just use everybody that I gave you earlier.
Okay, that's a good start right there. Let's see.
That's pretty much going to be everybody that we normally talk to. So
Okay, that's good, because you've given me some really good names here, and definitely on the contacts. Can you think of anybody else?
no, not right now.
Okay. All right. So Dylan, if you'll just make sure that the names that you've given me, if you'll give them a call or a text, let them know that I'll be calling them in the next few days. And as long as they have a heads up, there's no surprise. You can even tell them, hey, tell them about the child kit, tell them about that AD&D that you got, tell them about the A1 plus card up to 85%. Those are great for grandmas. Those are
Yeah.
great for people that have lower income. So, all right. So I'm going to jump into reviewing the exclusive benefits that you have to qualify for. Um, all the families I see, they love this part. They had no idea what benefits they could get. And they're always happy hearing for such a low cost. We've been doing this for 60 plus years. And I think you'll agree that unions have the best benefits out there. We may not all, your union, a lot of them aren't. And when they hear that they can get union prices as well, they run with it. All right. All right, so let's start with the needs analysis software. And what this is going to do, it's going to take a look at your needs and where you are and where your gaps are in any kind of regarding any kind of insurance coverage. And there's a wide range of things here that we're going to take a look at. In a few minutes, and after I review it with you, we're definitely going to know where you're at. And I'm going to ask you just a few questions to see where you're at. But before I do, I need to ask you a couple questions here. The first one I ask, I already know the answer. You have to be a member of an authorized group or sponsored in by someone who is. And in this case, your union. So that is your intro. And you also have to have an active checking account with a bank or credit union.
Okay.
All right. All right. So it looks like our needs analysis found some gaps in your coverage. I know that you said you got your medical through work, through group insurance. So before I go any further, I've got to read off this mandatory letter to you, and it explains how the enrollment process works. Here is a letter of it, but what I'm going to do is just kind of summarize for you. So what it's basically saying is that as I'm going through the benefits and you're nodding your head thinking, wow, these are some really great benefits. And I can see, why 20,000 groups approve this and why everyone's jumping in. Then I'm going to go ahead and ask you to apply today. On the flip side, if I'm going through the benefits and you're thinking to yourself, these are great. I really like them, but they don't feel a need for me and my family right now, then I'm actually going to ask you not to apply. Either way, yes or no, that decision has to be made today during this service period. So it's kind of a no-brainer. Either way, it's going to be easy, yes or no. That makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. So whether you decide to do this, they do want to give your opinion in a Google review, which is sort of like my report card. I strive to get 5-star ratings every time. So it's important. If you stop me, if you have any questions at all, same for you, Hannah, just be sure and stop and ask the questions because I want to be sure and be clear on everything that we're talking about.
Okay.
I've got a quick question for y'all. Have y'all ever, you say that you do have your bank. Have either one of y'all ever been on parole or probation?
No.
Okay, great. And are either one of y'all diagnosed with any kind of terminal illness?
No.
Okay, good. All right, so let's go ahead and get started here. All right, so as you take a look here, it shows the list of concerns that they have found gaps in. All right, so your first one is your copay, deductibles, and lost wages. So how's your health insurance through work?
I right now I don't have health insurance, but my wife does.
Okay, good. I mean, insurance is great helping cut costs wherever it can. So no matter how good it is, there's always gaps that aren't covered. So with this, you're going to see where your insurance does apply, and then where the copays, deductibles, and lost wages can fit in there and help that gap. The next, excuse me, the next concern is funeral and final expenses. Now, y'all both mentioned that you don't have any kind of funeral set up at this time, but you do want to be buried instead of cremated. Have you ever dealt with a funeral before?
Yeah, I've actually, my grandmother passed away in May of 2019. Then I was there with my dad, and then my grandfather on my mom's side passed away. Actually, on the 7th was a year since he passed away last year. And I want to say, I mean, they were expensive.
Yeah, yeah. So I actually worked for a funeral home several years ago. It was a very large funeral home, Fort Worth. And I'll tell you, and my part of my job was to deal with the insurance coming through for the families. And what those families would do, they would bring in their whole policy. And it was right in front of me, and my job to contact the insurance companies. They in turn would send the checks to us in full, and we turned around and wrote the difference to the family. Yeah. So with this, and first of all, funeral homes start out at about $14,000, and anymore, that's probably even a little bit more because cremations are increasing because more people are wanting to be cremated. So you
Right.
used to might could be cremated for $3,000, but when that need is there, that price is going to increase.
Yeah.
So what this does is called freedom of choice. And what happens is that you take this one sheet into the funeral home. They don't know how much money is on your policy for that funeral. They call the number. They still don't know how much is on your policy. And then American Income takes care of the rest. So if you've got a $30,000 limit on your freedom of choice, the funeral home will say, hey, they can't go in there and charge a 20,000 because they don't know. And they're going to
Yeah.
try. They're going to try and see how much they can get. If it's $15,000, American Income pays the funeral home $15,000, and then they immediately turn around and pay your family the difference. So your family would be getting $15,000 directly. And instead of this taking 6 weeks to 2 months, they're getting it within the week. All right, so your next concern is paycheck loss. And, no matter how great your benefits are through work, they aren't going to keep a paycheck coming once Dylan passes away, or once Hannah passes away.
Mhm.
And that's a huge concern, and it's an immediate concern in that moment. If Dylan makes $5,000 a month, Hannah will get another $5,000 for the next. Oh, I don't want to go there yet. I don't want to go there yet. Sorry.
Okay.
All right. Your next concern, you mentioned that you have a mortgage, that you're buying your house. And aside from all the emotional trauma that comes with an unexpected death, you're leaving Hannah and your kids wondering, am I going to be able to pay the mortgage on my income or Hannah's income?
Mhm.
She already mentioned she doesn't make as much as you, and that mortgage comes out of your check, even if it's combined. Now, all of a sudden, Hannah's trying to think of, how am I going to come up with this mortgage, this $1,000 mortgage? Am I going to have to ask mom and dad? Am I going to have to ask Dylan's mom and dad? And you also got to think about, if that need's not met, having to uproot your kids from the school that they go to and have gone to all their life and starting fresh. So that's a really big concern. A lot of people just really are concerned about that uprooting if something happened.
Yeah.
Your next concern is your children's protection. Due to the fact that work benefits don't provide any kind of permanent coverage for your kids, um, or future due to the loss of both parents or just one parent, they wanted to make sure that they had something in place. They're pretty vulnerable to experience severe consequences from the death of a family parent or a parent. And that's why the unions have come together and said, let's make this a top priority. Your next concern is your terminal illness, such as cancer. Right now in the US, for men, there's a 1 out of 2 chance of developing or dying of cancer. It is a leading cause of bankruptcy. And women are 1 in 3 until the age of 65. Then it goes to 1 in 2. Again, it's a leading cause of bankruptcy due to illness, and it can be devastating. Because even though you may have medical insurance, there's so much there that's not covered that you still have to struggle to find ends meeting. So, all right. So, and the final concern that they looked at was affordability. Now, to take all of these concerns, it's usually way too expensive if you look at it individually. And since we sit down with people that make $7 an hour and some people that make $77 an hour, you've got people out there working tons of overtime, especially right now with the economy. You got some that are retired, some that are laid off, but regardless, they wanted it to be affordable for everyone. The way that they set this up, Dylan, so let's imagine that your boss comes to you and he says, man, things are going so great here at work. I'm going to start paying you 41 hours and while you're only working 40. So you're gaining 1 hour of pay. Now, with that hour, are you going to go out and buy your dream house or start building it or go on the best vacation ever? No. I mean, that
No.
1 hour doesn't affect your life. On the flip side, if your employer comes to you and says, man, things are slow, I'm going to have to lay off you and your coworkers. So what we're going to do is take off, instead of working 40 hours, you only have to work 39 hours. You lose that 1 hour paycheck. He's not going to pay you that extra hour if you weren't there. So what this does exactly is it takes that 1 hour. The idea is that 1 hour isn't going to change your lifestyle. And that's why they've got it set up this way. So let me show you how that 1 hour takes care of all these concerns.
Okay.
All right. So I'm sorry with that coughing. All right. So what I've got here, I'm showing you we call it a 2-job display here because we want you to see the difference in what you're dealing with 1 hour. So on the left side here, we've got you at $1,500.
Okay.
And on the right, you've got it at $1,450. So $50 per week for you and Hannah. All right.
Okay.
So the first one here is your accident injury outpatient care. So they're going to pay you $100 if you go to the doctor for a bite, a sting, a broken arm. Your insurance pays, your medical insurance is going to pay it. You get this $100 directly to you. They're not going to go pay your doctor for it. This money goes directly to you. You file for it, it's your money. The other one is your accident injury hospital benefit. And this is if you get admitted. It's going to pay $200 a day. If you get admitted, if you leave the next day, $200. If you stay 5 days, they're going to pay you $200 times the 5 days. So you're walking away with $1,000 in your pocket. Also with this, if you are, and I believe this is the right part, if you are stay 5 days, let's say $1,000, and they don't, you're not going back to work, you get another $1,000 that following week because a lot of times you can't get right back to you can't get right back to work. So they're saying, you know what, they're going to need help with paycheck, with income for this week. We're going to pay them another $1,000. You can see where that's huge, right? All
Oh
right.
yeah.
So then you've got, if you happen to be admitted for intensive care for accident, they pay you $400 a day. So it doubles. So you're getting paid $400 a day. Let's say you stay 5 days, you're now getting $2,000 directly to you, not the hospital, not the doctor. It goes directly to you. Um, as, as far as your AD&D, like we talked about, the loss of a hand, a foot, sight, and eye, and then a combination of the two, they will pay you $10,000 up to $20,000 for the loss of the hand, double any of the two, 20,000. And then depending on this deals with the death if you die in an accident. And this depends on the type of accident. They will pay you 20,000 up to $100,000. And when I say depends on the accident, if you die in a boat accident, a bus accident, airplane accident, that benefit is going to increase depending on how you passed away. Freedom of choice. We talked about this earlier. They see a gap. They will pay you $30,000. And we talked about it earlier how you don't even have to show or tell the funeral home how much you make. So they will pay the funeral home the $14,000 for your funeral. You in turn, your family will get a check for $16,000, which is the remainder of what you have put down, what you want to cover for your funeral. And that applies to Hannah also. That's for both of y'all. So each one of y'all will have like $30,000 to apply to that freedom of choice. So the amount of the guaranteed income, Dylan, you make $5,000. Hannah said she makes $4,999. They are going to pay $5,000 for 60 months. That's 5 years. So Dylan dies, Hannah, you're going to get that $5,000 for the next 5 years. And in turn, Dylan's going to receive Hannah's paycheck for the next 6 years. That is huge. That is such a huge benefit because there's no stress, there's no strain. You're not having to think about what I'm going to do next. On your mortgage, I don't have, let's see, I'm going to calculate the rent. I know you said mortgage, but I'm going to do rent because I did calculate that. So your rent is $1,000 a month. If Dylan passes away, they're going to, we're taking 1,000, 12,000, let's see, 12,000, 36,000. You are going to get paid $36,000 because what they do, they will take your rent, how much it is a year, and then multiply that times 3. So for 3 of the years, they're going to pay that sum of 3,000 times. I went blank. 12,000, $36,000. There we go. All right. All right. So unlike these group benefits, which you can lose, these benefits are permanent and portable. They go with you. So if you leave your job, retire, or leave the union, you keep these. You don't lose you may lose your medical insurance, but these are going to go with you. In addition, if you are on a qualified layoff, they will cover the benefits for you for 3 months. If you're ever in a situation where you had a qualified strike, it's up to 12 months. This way, you and your family won't lose the benefits when you need them the most. And by the way, you do not have to pay any of this back, any of the premiums back while they're covering you for this during this time. So what I'm going to do now that you know these benefits that you qualify for, and I think you'd probably agree that they're pretty good benefits, pretty good coverage. What I need to do is run through, and so everyone wants the benefits, but not everyone can get them. So as I mentioned before, you do have to qualify first. So what I'm going to do is run through some questions and let's see if you qualify. All right, so went through it. Okay, so I'm not the underwriter, but based on what I'm seeing here, it looks like I should be able to get you qualified for the benefits. This is our QR checklist. It's a mandatory checklist. We have to see where you are, and we review it with all our members. It explains the enrollment process. The first thing that the checklist talks about is the way that the benefits are handled. All right. We went through that. All right. So Joe and Mary, almost everyone takes advantage of the program. You know, like because of the value and the cost is very small compared to the many benefits that you've seen. It's rare, but sometimes a member cancels. It could be a week, it could be a month, it could be a year later. And we end up seeing these same people the next service period, 2 or 3 years later. And they're upset because they aren't any further ahead than what they were. And most people end up wanting to reapply for the benefits. The problem is now that the program is more expensive because you're older. Worse yet, some people can't even get in it anymore because a health issue has changed. Someone has got diagnosed with cancer. Someone has been diagnosed with diabetes, high blood pressure. So the point is that this isn't a short-term fix. It's a long-term solution. And the longer that you're in the program, the more valuable it becomes. So if this $130 is uncomfortable for you, let's go ahead and fix it now. How does everything feel for you right now as we're talking?
Sounds pretty good.
Okay, I agree. I haven't seen one probably this good as far as your monthly premium and the benefits that you're getting. I also want to emphasize that the first draft is going to happen in the next 24 to 48 hours, but your bank may not reflect this for 10 days. So it's very, very important that the money is in there to be drawn from. If you've got any issues, no, if there are any issues, it kind of creates some problems, and it reflects poorly on me because it makes me look like I pressured you into something that you didn't want or you weren't ready for. So I just want to make sure, are we good with that draft going through today?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great, good. All right, so just make sure, keep this important program in place for your family. And the next time we see you, I think you'll be really happy that you did. All right.